Have you ever just wondered why some of your conversations totally click, while others seem to crash and burn for no reason? Well, in this explainer, we're going to crack the code on human communication. We're going to look at this really simple framework that shows you exactly what's going on under the surface every time we talk. All right, let's dive in. I mean, we've all been there, right? You ask what you think is a totally simple question, and boom, suddenly you're walking through a minefield of misunderstanding. It's so frustrating, it's confusing, and it turns out it's actually predictable. There's a hidden reason our chats go completely off the rails. Okay, just picture this. You ask a simple, factual question. Something like, hey, did you complete the project report? And out of nowhere, you get this back. Why are you always checking on me? Whoa. You see how fast that escalated? A simple request for info gets met with this blast of emotion. The wires get crossed and the whole conversation just gets derailed. So what is really going on here? Well, the answer is in this kind of user's manual for how we talk to each other. It's a framework that was developed by a psychiatrist named Berne, and it's called Transactional Analysis. Seriously, think of it like a map. It's a map that helps us see all the hidden stuff happening every single time we talk to someone. So to understand this manual, we first have to get to know the 3 different voices, or as they're called ego states, that we all speak from. According to Berne, every single one of us switches between these 3 modes of operating all the time. Okay, first up, we've got the parent. This is basically our internal tape recorder of all the rules and the shoulds and should nots we picked up from our parents or other authority figures. It can be that nurturing voice, drive safe, or it can be the critical one, you should know better. Then there's the adult. This is our inner data processor. It's all about logic, being objective, and just dealing with the facts right in front of us. And finally, we have the child. This is where all our feelings, our creativity, and our impulses live. It can be that playful joy of a new idea or, the total frustration when we don't get what we want. All right, so now that we know about these 3 inner voices, let's take a look at what happens when a conversation actually goes right. When communication just flows and everybody walks away feeling totally understood. This is what's known as a complementary transaction. And check it out. The idea here is that the lines of communication are perfectly parallel. The message that's sent from one person gets received and answered from the exact ego state it was aimed at. The lines don't cross, so the conversation just flows. No friction, no misunderstandings. It's smooth sailing. Let's see this in action. Here's a classic adult-to-adult exchange. Person A asks a purely factual question from their logical adult state. Something like, can you send me the report by 5 p.m.? Super straightforward. They're talking to the other person's adult. And the response comes right back on that exact same parallel track. Yep, I'll complete it and mail it to you. It's direct, it's factual, there's no extra emotion packed in there. Adult to adult. The transaction is done, info's been exchanged, and everyone just moves on. So simple, so efficient. But hey, it's not like smooth conversations are only adult to adult. Check out this example. Someone speaks from their nurturing parent state saying, please wear your jacket, it's cold outside. And the response? It comes from a cooperative child state, okay, I will. The response perfectly matches the expectation. The lines are parallel, and the communication just flows without a single problem. Okay, so we've seen communication when it's working perfectly. Now, let's flip the script and explore the exact opposite. Let's look at that moment when those nice, neat parallel lines suddenly cross and everything just goes sideways. This is what we call a crossed transaction. And yeah, just like the name says, this is where the wires get crossed. The response you get comes from a totally unexpected ego state. And that right there, that is the exact moment a simple chat turns into a fight. So let's circle all the way back to that example from the beginning. The question, did you complete the project report? That was a totally straightforward adult-to-adult request. The person asking expected a simple, factual adult answer, something like, yep, it's almost done. But instead, the reply came shooting back from a defensive child state. The transaction got crossed and the conversation just, poof, instantly broke down. Here's another classic mix-up. One person speaks from their critical parent state. You should be more responsible with your time. Now, they're expecting a compliant child response, but what do they get instead? A rebellious child firing right back. Stop bossing me around. The expectation is just shattered, the lines crossed, and bam, you've got an argument on your hands. All right, so let's pull this all together. We've met our 3 inner voices, the parent, the adult, and the child. And we've seen how they can interact in ways that are either parallel and smooth or crossed and chaotic.
Let's put this into a simple code you can use for better communication.
Basically, this right here is your cheat sheet. On one side, you've got harmony. That's your complementary, parallel transactions that lead to smooth, effective communication. On the other side, you've got conflict. Those are the crossed, mismatched transactions that just, well, they lead to arguments. The whole entire framework really boils down to this one simple dynamic. Are your lines parallel or are they crossed?
So what's the ultimate key to all of this? It's just one word: awareness. Just being able to recognize which ego state you're in and which one you're hearing from the other person, that gives you the power to actually steer the conversation. And look, while all these states have their place, if you aim for that clear, rational, adult-to-adult channel, that's almost always your best bet for a productive and respectful conversation.
You know, the real power of this whole idea isn't just knowing about it. It's about actually using it. So the next time a conversation starts to feel a little tense, just pause for a second and ask yourself, am I in my parent, my adult, or my child right now? And which voice is talking back to me? That one simple moment of awareness can literally be the difference between connection and conflict. The choice is yours.